it's like the penny dropped that I was the problem. I had this sort of long list of reasons why I was there, and all the pressure I was under, and my marriage, and all this sort of thing. And suddenly I realized that I was the problem, and the change needed to come from me.
Do you think that's something that potentially a lot of people, not on that extreme level, but outside of an institution like that, and outside of a team environment, do you reckon too many people probably have almost a blame culture on something else than it is? Oh, I know it is. This is why this is happening, and push the responsibility away far too often away from themselves, rather than taking that moment and looking inside and saying, well, okay, the common factor here is really I'm the X in this equation. And do you have any advice for people to, through the experiences you had there, and how they potentially can look a bit more within, in that situation?
Yeah, I do. The answers always lie within, always. And I it's nearly 9 years since I went in the Priory, and I've not drunk a single drink since then, and my life is completely different to what it was then. But that doesn't mean that I don't have to kind of do daily work on myself, and kind of go, what is, and the answers lie within me, and that looking out to blame is often also when someone is looking out for happiness, and actually they go hand in hand. If you're often looking outside for your affirmation, then you're likely to look outside when you want to blame. And we're all guilty of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not kind of some sort of perfect on a fluffy cloud thing. I get it wrong all the time. But I think I have a check now where I'm like, do you know what? This is about me, and often if I'm venting a frustration about something, it's actually something that's going on in me. And so, my advice to people is, if you're in that place where you feel like you're blaming a lot, you feel like, your luck's about to turn, that kind of thing, just over the corner or just round, things will change for me. I would say that, concentrate on the now and within, and do the work on within. Look at what's going on with yourself, and you might need help from somebody to do that, advice as to what does that look like? How do I do that work? I think it's very difficult to do on your own, but the answers lie within. And suddenly you can get to a place where you can go out and play at whatever you want to play at, be a professional sportsman, be a great business person, do whatever you want. But your happiness and your stillness and your stability is kind of within you. And that's, you look after that. You're not looking for outside affirmation or blame.
Is there anything that you do daily that you feel keeps you in check?
Yeah, I don't do it every day now, but I did do for a long time. Was I write a gratitude list every day. And it doesn't have to be long. Like I could be having a coffee and I just write 5 things down that I've to be grateful for. I also try, and at the end of the day, again, if just I've got 10 minutes just to kind of think back on the day, how the day went. Did I clash with anyone? Did I speak to anyone in a way that I wish I hadn't? Or, was I my best that day? And kind of just have a little look at it and just, roll it back and go, okay, what's going on? And then I guess permanently just always be in a place where I recognize I want to have healthy conversations, healthy like this, I'll get a lot out of this because I'm triggering that part of me that's healthy and allows me to progress. I'm just really conscious then if I'm in unhealthy conversations or with unhealthy people, or toxic type of environments, I'll become toxic. So I'm just really careful to protect where I'm at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's so much there. I do something where, well, I think within the sportsman within us, we tend to go through that sort of like review process sometimes where I think it can be a natural, I think it's a thing you should be doing if you want to be getting better at something. But once you've instilled it in you, like for example, I was doing a big session with a group of lads last night, and I'll finish and we've got other coaches that are helping out, and I will ask them, I am not ashamed to sit there and go, how did we think that went? I actually even ask the group, ask these kids that I'm working with, as the person they're looking up to, how did we go, guys? How can we get better? And I'm instilling in them this review process of like, what did we do well? What did we do not so well? And what are we going to do next time to get better? Just literally those three questions, I think, work really, really well. And another one I found is quite powerful is almost either writing down or mentally noting or viewing yourself as a stranger and seeing yourself as through the lens of as a stranger, and then you see yourself for the actions you're actually doing. Now that could be transferred into anything. If you want to improve your diet, like if it's your diet you want to change, like write down what you're actually eating. It's just black and white, there it is. The interactions you were talking about there, once you have them, what were the emotions like that you felt from them? How did you feel it went? What was the reaction from the person you got, the tone of voice you used? And that self-awareness then just starts to spill out into other areas that you do. And used correctly, it is the most powerful tool for making yourself better and growing and learning in every situation, in my opinion.